you mention support volunteer hours?
Like babysitters.
Yeah.
I did not. That's a PTA thing. Did you mention it?
Okay. When you volunteer for PTA, if you also have a babysitter or others who are not PTA members or part of your team helping you, their volunteer hours count as well. So please log those as well.
Phone call hours, email hours.
Okay. So partnerships. Partnerships are probably going to look different again this year too, in everything. Partnerships are where businesses like Chick-fil-A or Classic Skating have a school night, right? And in the school night, they're giving you a percentage back. First of all, I would say be cautious. Don't just give the business free business. Make sure that percentage back it is a little negotiable. Make sure they're being fair to you and giving you a percentage back. I would never accept less than 10%. When I negotiate with them, we aim for 15 to 20% back on any given night. So don't just send them business and not, and a few of them, I think we've weeded most of these out on the approved list, but a few of them will say, we'll give you 10% back if you reach $800. It says, oh man, we only reached $770, you don't get anything back. No, that's called giving them business for free. Don't do it. So watch your agreements on those. Likely this year you're not going to have a lot of spirit nights because you're not going to have a bunch of the whole school crowding into Chick-fil-A or
But Chick-fil-A does drive-through and not.
they do. There may be ways to do it, and you guys are welcome to do it. Partnerships, you can have as many as you want. There's no limit on those, so that's a good way to raise a few extra dollars. Yes?
So to do a partnership, it has to be under approved.
It does. And again, if somebody's not on there that you want to do something with, give me a call, tell the business to give us a call. We will work with getting them approved as long as they are in good standing as a business. And they're not trying to fleece you. Okay, so you will be able to see the approved fundraiser list. Let's go to Delaney if you can, and I'm not quite sure how you're going to do this, but I'll let you figure it out. Success Fund. How many of you have heard of Success Fund? Last year was the first year we ever did with it. Okay. Excuse me. Success Fund is a company, is a platform. It has multiple uses in Canyon, so I'll try to explain them all to you. One, every fundraiser that happens in Canyons has to be approved through your principal and their area director. So Success Fund is the way to get that approval. So you can think of it first, it's just an online approval platform. I will send you, if you have not already received them, an email that says, hey, you've received an email to join Success Fund because you're the PTA president. You will click on it, accept the email, go in, you will create your Success Fund account. When you do that, you will then be able to create a campaign. Everything you do, even for approvals, even if you're not using Success Fund, you will still do your approval through here. So you'll go in, you will create the campaign. There's several steps, several questions you have to answer, and then you would send it to your to your principal. You can also sit with your principal and have them help you do this. But you have to do this for your fundraiser. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Every fundraiser has to get an approval through here, through your principal, through their area director. Okay? Has to go through here. Now, Success Fund has two other possibilities. One is an online payment platform. So you can choose to take your online donations through here. You can also through Member Hub, right? So you already have that ability as PTA, that our schools don't have that ability, but you do. So you can do that, but you can choose to accept money through here. If you choose, then you would go through, once your approval comes back and says you've now been approved, you would click Go Live, and it would allow you to, it will give you a QR code, it will give you a link to be able to send out to people to say, hey, we're doing our fundraiser this year, collect it through here. Now, there is no cost to you on this to do that. It comes from the donors, basically. So if somebody's making a donation, say $100, it's 5% plus $1 that they will say, would you like to cover the cost of this donation? Just like a credit card fee, right, for all of us, anytime we shop. So it asks the donor if they want to cover it. If they do, then you get 100% of the donation. If they don't, then you get that amount taken off of the donation they gave to you. That's how it's paid for. That's how it's free. With that said, over 90% of the donors choose to cover it, and so you get 100% of the donation. Now, I just said 5%. There are other approved online platforms on the website. You need to talk to them each individually about how much they charge. They will charge it usually on a sliding scale of how many services they give you versus how much percentage they take. The next closest one is about 15% at a base. Okay? Guys got that? Some of them go upwards of 30%, one of them goes upwards 40% if they're providing you the prizes and the things to go with your stuff. Use whoever you want, but just that's what you're wanting to pay attention to is how much are they taking out of our fundraiser to do what for us? What are we paying for? Okay? So Success Fund, you can run an online donation online, no-fuss fundraiser. You're welcome to use it, and I can help walk you through it if need be. The other thing they started doing this year that's new is product fundraising, meaning that if you're selling a product, whatever that product may be, and you want to collect it on here, they will be able to collect the money. So you will be able to pay for it on Success Fund. So if you're selling cookie dough and you're wanting people to pay for it on here, there's a few more steps involved, but you can be able to take the payment here. Now this allows you can't take Venmo generally. Sometimes there's problems with Apple Pay, Google Pay. This allows all of those platforms to be taken. They're taken through here, through legal agreements with Success Fund, not with you. And so this does allow those different platforms to be used if you're using this as a payment platform. Okay, so if you have Success Fund questions beyond what you've asked beyond what I've said, contact me and I will walk you through it. But your fundraising approval has to go through this. So you will all interact with Success Fund for your fundraising approval. Yes?
So like our fundraiser this year, we will all get on and make a campaign for that. So like ours is our member fund. So do I need to do that like right now because we've already done registration, we're already selling member.
Well, in theory, your principal's going to prove it, right?
Yeah.
But yes, you do need to get on there and you do need to do that. So this is our fundraiser for the year and this goes out. The other thing is that Success Fund is new with this year is last year in their first year, all the money had to come into the foundation and then we had to give it back out to you guys. We tend not to commingle money. This year they worked with Utah PTA, and if you are doing a PTA fundraiser through them, the money will come straight to you now. So you will set up your bank account with them, the money will come straight to you. If it is a joint with the school, we will work together to set up what amount goes where to each one. But the money will come straight to you, it will not come into us. Now, this is an important date. What day are we on today? The 6th? None of this happens till August 11th. They roll out all of the product stuff and the ability to pay you directly on August 11th. So if you set it up today and you want the money to flow, it's not going to flow right until August 11th. So I will, and I've instructed them to make everything hold until August 11th so that it can come straight to you, not into us. Yes, Linda?
So I don't know if you can tell us this, and if you can't, it's fine, but what would you recommend? Do you recommend we use Success Fund, or do you recommend we use Member Hub?
I don't care. I don't make a recommendation. That's up to you. PTA can make a recommendation if they want to. It's totally up to you.
They're both available to you, so it's absolutely your choice.
Okay.
Yes.
Last year, donations through Success Fund were eligible for like a company match. Like
Yes.
for a company that will match your donation.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Have you already received emails from me saying that you have a Success Fund account?
No.
Okay. You will do that in the next few days. Where we put hold until August 11th. I'm not positive that's been done, but I will make sure it is. Okay, are there any questions about that? Okay. Banners, go back to the advertising page, Lenny. So banners, every school, Betty, yes?
So our fundraiser that we usually do is for Church Valley OT,
Yes.
and we're planning on being able to do it.
We're going to be all done with COVID by then.
Okay, maybe I'll ask for everybody else, what if we change our fundraising plans?
Work with your principal, maybe have to let me know, but we'll update it with school performance and we'll just change it. So yes, if you put something in place and it's going to be our fundraiser and this year doesn't work out, just like everything else, we're completely flexible, we just change it. Yes?
You want us to do our successful campaign
After August 11th, but what do you mean your Success Fund campaign?
I mean, like to get it approved, so like say our fundraisers in this spring.
If you're not using Success Fund for a payment platform, you can do that anytime you want, your approval.
So you can do it like May, or you can do it
No,
like
no, no.
March, right before.
You should be doing it prior to your fundraising starting.
Right.
You should be.
But I mean,
Because the idea is that somebody's approving the fundraiser to make sure it's something you can actually do.
So if they're like, oh, well, I don't know what the spring will look like, you don't have to get on right now and approve your fundraiser.
Correct.
tomorrow.
Correct.
You can do it.
Correct. But you do need to be getting approval before you start it. In theory, that's not really easy with memory books and they've already been up for 7.
Is that only for fundraisers, or do we also, if we are going to do something like sell the masks or t-shirts at cost, do those need to go to them?
You need to talk to your principal about those, but this is only for fundraisers. This is your one approved fundraiser. There's little workers over in the other building that sit there with notebooks and say, there's the PTA fundraiser, there's the school fundraiser, they have their two. There's the, so they're checking to see if everybody's sticking to their two and have what they want or whatever. So we do actually get that question. We actually do get parents that call in every year and say, oh my gosh, my school has just killed us with fundraisers, and we go look at what fundraisers have been approved and say, well, they've only done this and this. Oh no, they've done this and this too. And then obviously the principal gets a phone call from us. But it's a paper trail to be able to assure that we're not killing parents with fundraisers. Okay, anything else? All right, so banners doesn't apply to PTA too much. And do we want to break and then come back for lunch? Would you like to do that, or would you like to just keep going for a few more minutes and then just eat lunch on the way out? Up to me. A little bit, not much. Okay, I'm just going to keep going and try to get it done. I'm not sure I'll ever get you back. So banners. Banners on external fences. If you are high schools, listen to this carefully. Internal fences in venues, basketball arenas, baseball fields, football fields, those are up to those athletic departments. External fences, public-facing fences, out on the perimeter, even in high schools, those are district fences. And we only let people advertise on them, meeting our advertising guidelines, and they pay so that your school makes a little bit of money off of those, right? We do not consider, and this goes for just about everything. This goes for businesses contacting, this goes for banners, this goes for people wanting flyers sent out. We are not an advertising agency. Canyons District is not an advertising agency. If they are wanting to advertise in Canyons District, then there is money that comes in to support the schools and the children and teachers in Canyons. There are some guidelines that they follow. There are some reason and need, and sometimes parents want to see those advertisements, for ski nights up at Brighton or for whatever, opportunities for children. So we have some pretty strict guidelines. They all come in through me. We make sure they're meeting those guidelines and things. Now, occasionally PTA wants to do banners for some reason. Talk to me about it. Generally speaking, it's been very easy to work out. It's like, okay, fine. You may do your fun run and you have businesses that are sponsoring your fun run and you want a banner up for that. We're obviously not going to charge you for that. So there's some different ways, but typically speaking, we have had some PTAs get creative and say, we're going to sell the banners. If you do, that's your fundraiser. Okay? And you're selling them at our rates, and you're not going to make enough, I can tell you right now, to do your fundraiser. So, but if you get creative with banners, call me and talk to me about it. Communications tools. We promised earlier we'd talk about this. Canyons has, let me see if we go on to something else, past banners. Maybe? Is there another slide there? Okay, let me just talk. So, communication tools. Skylert, that is our integral system for you as parents to be registered, to put in the information you need to say, this is how I want the district to communicate with me. Your phone numbers, your email, whatever. I'm always dumbfounded at how out of date that gets and how quickly in a school year. If something is wrong with your child at your school, we're going to contact the information listed on Skyward. It is absolutely imperative that every one of your families in your school keep Skyward up to date, right? That their current email, their current phone numbers are in Skyward. So anything PTA can do, reminders out to your parents to say, please keep your Skyward information up to date. That's absolutely imperative because that is how we reach you in an emergency. The other information that should be going out goes out from the principal for the building, through Skyward, through Skylert. that's where you would get an email or phone number, is supposed to be integral to the school. That means it is either school information they need you to pay attention to, or something about emergencies, or something about the school day, or something going on at the school, or about your child in particular, that the teachers can use to communicate with you about your child in particular. We really try to be protective of that system, because used to we let other things go out, Spirit Night, and we're selling this, and here's the newsletter, and whatever. We used to let all that go out on Skylert, and you guys got numb to it. So when you got Skylert, you weren't paying attention to Skylert, and we have to have you pay attention to those messages. If you get something on your phone that says your school's reaching out to you on Skylert, hopefully it has something in there that you really need to know, okay? Everything else should be going on Peach Jar or coming through some other source. Some of our teachers, coaches, advisors use some like Remind or something. We are actually in the process of looking at some other parent communication tools for the non-essential things, but it's not approved yet. You may see that from us sometime during this year. But some people will use other things, but Peach Jar is the second form of communication that is district-wide. I know some of you don't like it, some of you never look at it, I get it, I don't need to hear it, but it is the other way that you're going to get non-integral information. That would be your Spirit Nights, your fundraisers, your other stuff. I can't even think what all goes out through Peach Jar, but there is also business ability to advertise to you there. Sometimes I'll get a phone call that says, man, we wish you guys would do the Brighton Ski Night again. Why don't you do that? It's like, we do. Well, you never send out information. We do. It's on Peach Jar. Well, I don't look at Peach Jar. I don't like that. Well, I can't help that, but that is where that information is. So, and I get that all the time. I'll get something on, we have this great Chinese dual immersion opportunity. Why didn't you send it? We did. Well, I didn't get it. It's on Peach Jar. I have Peach Jar turned off. Okay, so it doesn't matter to me. You can set how often you get them, daily, weekly, monthly. You can never get them and go to your school website. You'll have a Peach Jar link. You can click on that and see all flyers for your school. It doesn't matter to me, but if you want those type of communications and know the opportunities and things that are available to you, then that's where you look, okay? And PTA needs to keep that in mind and not just push the principal all the time to send stuff out on Skylert. Integral information. Please join our PTA. That should probably be going out on Skylert, right? PTA is having the 5th skate night of the year this Friday. Maybe not so much, right? So work with your principal to determine what that looks like, but please help us with protecting that. Also on Peach Jar, a school can send for themselves. So the principal front office can send a Peach Jar for them. But if it's beyond that one school, then it comes through my office and we send it out. A great instance is high schools. If a high school's doing a mini cheer clinic and they want it to their feeder system, they cannot call each school and send it to their feeder system. They come to us, we will send it to their feeder system for them. So that just helps protect making sure that all of you are not getting every single high school fundraiser that high schools do, that all of our elementary and middle school parents don't actually get those as well. So, any questions on Peach Jar? Good. I'm glad I prefaced that by saying don't beat me up on Peach Jar again this year, because every year that's usually the topic, but I'm glad. What happens with you guys have the ability to use Member Hub for your PTA members. The other thing I need to say on communications is you do need your membership list. Member Hub's a great tool to do that with. You need to be able to communicate with your PTA membership. There are certain things during the year you cannot communicate to the school at large that have to only be communicated to PTA members. Legislative issues is one of those. If it is a PTA stance on legislation, then or a call to action item, that type of thing, that can only go to your PTA members, cannot go to the school as a whole. So there will be times during the year where you have to know your membership list and be able to communicate to them. What happens when there's a need in your school? We touched on this briefly earlier with the panel. It's going to look a little different this year. Usually the foundation does teacher innovation grants, and teachers can apply for large grants up to $10,000 to be able to do stuff in their classrooms. The foundation also did not get to hold a fundraiser in the spring, And the district, we've had some conversations about need this year. We really feel like there's going to be a much higher need for students and families this year. So they are turning their focus and the money they have available to really support students in need. Several of our schools have food pantries. A few more are starting to think they will need them this year. So we will be looking and focusing on stocking food, non-perishable food items, new clothing for the food and clothing pantries throughout the district that need them. That's going to be a laser focus this year. And then also, Superintendent Robbins didn't talk much about this, but we believe forevermore now, students are going to need devices and going to need connectivity. And we found, and I wish I could put this map up for you, we thought we would know some certain spots that didn't have great connectivity when we got the reports back from people that said we just don't have internet connectivity. It's about a little over 3,000 students district-wide that said they do not have adequate internet access, and it is absolutely district-wide. Every nook, corner, and cranny in the district. It is not in certain spots. It is everywhere. So we are working fast and furious and tirelessly to try to make sure every student has connectivity and has the device they need. And that's where a lot of the foundation resources are going to go this year, and the business partnerships are going to go to work towards that. The plan is that every secondary student will have their own device this year, this fall, knock on wood, will have a Chromebook and have their own device that they are issued. We hope to be able to extend that out to all elementary students, to all students within a year or so, depending on how quickly we can, not just the students in need when we go to online, but that everybody will have that ability to have a device. And so we're working on that fast and furious. That's going to be the focus for the foundation for a little while. So with that said, the teacher innovation grants are not happening this year. If teachers have needs, as has always been the case, they can go to Donors Choose. Hopefully you're all familiar with Donors Choose. It is a great site. Teachers can load projects, and anyone from anywhere can help support our teachers by donating to their projects. One way you help is because if you want people to donate to your teacher and they put projects on Donors Choose, you can call your grandparents, aunts, uncles across the nation, across the globe, and say, hey, my classroom really needs whatever the need is that the teachers put on, and ask them to donate to Donors Choose. The foundation and other businesses look at the projects loaded there. So say they have a $2,000 project that they're trying to do, and they've had $1,200 donated, $800 left. Well, we may have $800. We might not have done the whole $1,200 project, but we might have the $800 to finish it off. So we look continuously for projects we can finish off and get to the finish line to fund, and it makes our dollars stretch further through more teachers. So Donors Choose, if you don't know what it is, please look at it and look at the schools in your area, sign up for notifications, and help the teachers in your schools. That is going to be their main fundraising ability this year for needs in their classrooms. Let's see. Yes. You know how you have like back to school night and they say we really need crayons donated, cleaning stuff? That's great. We don't want them creating GoFundMe accounts and saying donate to my classroom. That is handled at a larger level. Yes, and they have Donors Choose that they can do that for if they have a project that will benefit their classroom. So, yes.
Slightly on the same subject as PTA, but when we have our virtual meetings for PTA, are we allowed to use like Zoom, Google Meet, any of those online platforms? Is there a specific one that Canyons wants us
For virtual meetings?
Yeah.
That would be a PTA question. Tanya, are they free to use any online platform for their virtual meetings?
I haven't heard any different.
So I know
We don't care.
Yes.
a lot of them charge if you have more than so many people or to go for a certain time. So I wasn't sure if PTA or Canyons had an agreement with one of them that PTA could tack on, or were we allowed to like put a line item in my budget saying that I'm going to pay for Zoom for, the $10 fee every month so I can have over 40 people on my
Zoom
I'm
call.
gonna have to look into that. I know Utah PTA has, but I don't know if, I know it's offered to the region, but I don't know if I can offer it to all of you. Oh, Betty's
We
gonna.
run it.
Okay, so, but I know that Google Meets, we'd have to look into Google Meets. I don't know if they have a, amount of people that can be on or amount of time.
So I listened to both because we've done virtual meetings over the spring and the summer, and both of them have a limit of either a number of people or a time, and so you have to pay for it. So I mean, I'll put it in my budget as long as we're allowed to say that that's going to be.
I would say for this year, I mean, I would say it would be a budget thing. I mean,
Okay.
but this is how we're having to run PTA, so I would say it would be fine.
Okay.
Great question. Okay, one last thing on advertising that I'm going to ask you is please don't be gullible. We do this, I do this round the clock, and it's sometimes hard to discern, but a lot of companies, a lot of businesses get very creative, and they know that if for some reason they're talking to me and I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do business with you, thank you though, that they're going to get hold of their principal and they're going to try to get into a school via the principal or their board members, and they're going to say, board, hey, we really think you're in Canyons District, we have got the end-all be-all, we will solve COVID for you, or we will solve the world's latest crisis for you, just buy our product. They're salesmen, right? So when they've exhausted those resources, they usually come to you, and they usually say, hey, PTA, I really want to do this for your school, it's going to be great, it's going to help. There's an avenue for them, it's not through PTA, send them back to us, try not to send out their flyers for them. There are other things, if it's a true business partnership and you've got a question on your end, contact me. Most of the principals are pretty savvy about this, but occasionally things jump to the hoops. They will always bring out, keep in mind, we do not send home paper flyers in our schools, okay? We don't do that, it goes through Peach Jar. So if somebody, they will always drop off a big stack at every school and say, hey, we have permission to send these home. They don't. I can almost guarantee you about the only people that do is the getaway today who's been grandfathered in from the beginning of this. Outside of that, there is virtually nobody that has permission to send stuff home, very, very seldom. So don't be gullible because they come to you when they can't get through us. I will tell you that in March, April, May, and especially May, June, everybody invented online curriculum and the latest and greatest online platform, and we literally were fielding hundreds of phone calls from the new vendors that have the latest, greatest online platform and wanting us to buy it to teach your children. We have people vetting that. We have people looking at them, seeing how they integrate, seeing if they actually are good, support. Don't always buy into it, but there are people to vet it. If you think it's awesome, send it to us. We will get it vetted. We will see if it's possible. Same goes for people that want to do assemblies. Chances are they're not going to do a lot of assemblies this year. But same thing on that. They come to the PTA and say, oh man, we're going to come teach your parents about this. You know, check and make sure it's valid. We usually know. And if not, then we love to hear about the latest, greatest too. So just don't be gullible and don't get used by some of these people that are just trying to get their business off the ground. Battle of the Books, one of the last things I want to talk to you about. Some of you, especially elementaries, you guys are familiar with Battle of the Books. It started with one of our great PTA folks, and she's really pushed it, and a lot of you have participated in it. This year, it's becoming a district item. It's ran by our media specialist. I don't have full details on it yet, but know that Battle of the Books will be coordinated with your media specialist, and they may have a request for you to help with the budget on Battle of the Books. Many of you have already been doing it, so it may just be an easy transition to help again. Keep in mind, Tanya showed you your PTA budget items, your PTA programs. If your budget's flush and you can do other things, science night, arts night, Battle of the Books, fantastic. Support your schools the way you see fit. If your budget's tight, we are not expecting you to kill yourselves to raise more money for something that we're asking for, okay? You do what you do as PTA. If there's more and you want to do something for your school, fantastic. Work it out with your budget and with your people and then pass to do it. But don't feel compelled to do something that is not a PTA program. That is never something we ask of you. In talking to the principals, I mentioned earlier that we reached out and talked to principals about how you can help them this year. And some of the things I heard back, teacher appreciation. They're very conscious about the mental health, not just of students this year, but of their faculty and staff. And they said that one of the greatest things that they need from the PTA is mental health supports for their staff and faculty. To please be thinking on an ongoing basis, not just the end of the year, but weekly, monthly, a couple times a month. They said it doesn't have to cost you a lot, but send home notes, send home words of encouragement, send to the teachers, notes, words of encouragement, little treats, something. But they said they really are going to need your help in showing appreciation to the teachers and staff this year. So be creative in that. Check with your principals about food. We likely will have in place at any point in time some food restrictions. So Nancy, have we made a decision yet on what parent-teacher conferences look like?
No, I think school level it'll be different.
Okay, so pay attention for what parent-teacher conferences will look like, but most of you feed teachers around parent-teacher conference time. Work closely with your principal to find out if there A, is a need, and B, what that looks like. We will strongly, at least for the fall, suggest box meals, not a buffet, not homemade food. I think I can almost say it's prohibited for the fall, but I won't go quite that far yet. But strongly consider that looking differently this year, not just having all the parents bring food in. It needs to probably be professionally done, at least for the fall, if there's a requirement to do anything, and there likely may not be. Yes?
And still no gift certificates. We can't give gift certificates to our teachers. I mean, I would love to be able to be like, this is good for, a Charburger, have it like we just got. Is there any way we can do anything like that for our teachers, especially in like COVID time?
The issue with that is that you need to have them sign for it individually.
If I did that, then I'm allowed to do that?
So gift cards is the question.
You have to, these are different times, and so it's a little more, the rules will be a little bit more relaxed, but you do have to have accountability for it,
Okay.
for, giving them that. And so
And
it's
so it's like a simple checklist, like I give this to, Mrs. Miller, and Mrs. Miller signs it, and awesome.
I'm not sure any of you ever have budgets robust enough to go over this, but employees are not ever allowed to accept anything over $50, ever. And then on gift cards and things, it needs, a little token one is nice, and some businesses may work with you on that as well. That is one thing I did not tell you. Your green bags were supplied by Jordan Credit Union. Am I right on that? The Jordan Credit Union, and they are filled with, how at state convention usually you have the vendors that are there to tell you about the latest fundraisers and who does what for you. Since they've missed that opportunity this year, they've donated to your bags. We reached out to all of our fundraisers, all of our partnerships, and said, if you want to put something in the bag, do. So there are a few coupons in there. There's some treats. There is a happenings book for all of you. If you're familiar with happenings, they give you discounts at different businesses. That's in there. And so several businesses, some of it's just advertisement. So you see if they are offering you partnerships or fundraisers. That may be in there. So look through those. But we certainly appreciate those businesses that agreed to support all of you. And I don't know where my Perla went, but there's Perla in the back. She's one of our staff assistants. She worked hard for the summer to put those together for you. So a big round of applause for Perla working with that. But look through those. There are a few coupons. There are a few things in there for you, just as goodies to say thank you. And then several advertisements from businesses that are happy to support you. One of them is one of the trophy companies that does Reflections Awards. There are several of those, but one of them put some advertisement in there so that you have those. Last but not least, equity. We want to make sure that our students and our teachers are treated equitably. And by that I mean when it comes to PTA, if you're doing a day where you say it's going to be School Spirit Day, we want everybody to wear a t-shirt. Try to make sure that every student had the ability to have a t-shirt, right? Whether you cover whether there's some money offered to principals to pay for t-shirts or for kids that couldn't have them. But when you sell them as a fundraiser and kids can't afford them, then you've automatically excluded some kids out of School Spirit Day. So think about things from that way. Can every student participate in this, or are we innately creating some blockades to all students participating? That's really important. Same thing for teachers. We heard last year pertaining to, for PTA works with room moms, but with room moms, some room moms go off the charts and do amazing things for their parties or for their teacher appreciation, and some don't get anything. Try to set some limits and some direction and say, let's do it kind of this way so that everybody's sort of treated fairly, rather than some being really recognized and some not. It just try to keep everything equitable, and so we don't make people feel bad, whether that's families or children or the teachers. And just have a great year. I started with this and I'll end with this. We just appreciate you so much and appreciate whatever it is you're going to do this year, because I think we have yet to see. If you have really great ideas on how you're doing things, please share with the region and at the council meetings, because I think all of us are going to be looking for ideas on how to do fundraising, how to do Red Ribbon Week, how to do whatever it is we do this year. So please share with each other and share with the region so that they can get that information out, and know that we are here for you. Anything we can do to help you, any questions you have, call. Delaney, can you go back to that very first screen? Call, text, email, and we will help you try to brainstorm and figure out whatever goes on. We'll try to help you figure it out. That's my email and my phone number. Call, text anytime, and we will try to help you figure out any of the crazy something that comes up this year, even above what is normal crazy for the year. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.